well established that, with girls' education, with girls' empowerment, societies are better, they work well, and it's half the population in general, so how can you walk on one leg only? You have to walk on two legs if you want to be successful in all sectors. So yes, you're right, you have to start by education, by girl education, and we also know that, in many countries, girls and women are always the first victims of war, of poverty, of climate change, of pandemics. It always hits the girls and the women harder than the others. So yes, it's very important for every country to make sure that they're not vulnerable or less vulnerable as possible. And the first thing is to get them to school. But in Afghanistan or in other countries, in Iran, I don't know if you've heard about these poisoning of young girls in schools recently. They were poisoning them, really, only girls' schools, through poison coming through the air conditioning and things like that. It's terrible, So every country has its issue. It's also part of the control. Also, as you mentioned, there are many factors that can explain, but it's very true that education is the best way to fight against obscurantism, extremism, poverty. Everything actually starts with education.
Now I'm going to speak to what she mentioned, and she said, oh, you go to the computer lab and you notice that the guys are already on the laptops in the computer lab, right? Now, it's going to still boil down to the cultural belief. Drag yourself backwards and say, the guys who could just have the computer lab and, you just say, I'll just make do what I have, right? And that is because we already have the cultural belief that the guys can have everything, right? While I can just pick up the pieces, right? The crumbs that comes from the table, right? So I think cultural belief, we really need to, start talking about cultural beliefs around women, right? How we pick up all these cultural beliefs and start breaking them down. We can involve ourselves.
I would say that these girls are lucky. They have computers in their schools. The schools that we work with, some children have never seen a computer. So when you think about the challenge, that's the first challenge. And I said this recently, that you have to have access before you can think about innovation. Because how do you want people to dream around a thing they've never seen? How do you want them to imagine the possibilities of using something that they have never seen, that their minds cannot wrap around? So I would say the biggest challenge, in my opinion, and I know there's lots of challenges, but just based on the work that we do at TechHer, the biggest challenge is access.